I'm Robin Kerner. World Sport with Don Riddell is next, and he will have details of a blistering new report. It shows U.S. Olympic officials actually knew about the sexual abuse allegations against U.S. gymnastics Dr. Larry Nassar, and they did nothing about it for months. So Don is next with that. I'm Robin Kerner. Thanks for joining us here at CNN.
The sex abuse scandal in U.S. gymnastics is absolutely horrendous, and the more we hear about it, the worse it seems to get. Earlier this year, the former team doctor Larry Nassar was sentenced to spend the rest of his life in jail after more than 100 athletes testified in court about his abuse. The details and the sheer volume of the testimony was really sickening. Well, now we have new information. An independent report has just been published detailing that the cover-up of the scandal went right to the top of the U.S. Olympic Committee. According to the report, the former USOC CEO, Scott Blackman, and the chief of sports performance, Alan Ashley, knew about the abuse for months, and they did absolutely nothing about it. The report took 10 months to compile by the law firm Ropes & Gray. They interviewed more than 100 witnesses. Our contributor Christine Brennan has read all 233 pages of that report. She broke the story, and we spoke about it earlier on.
This is the worst scandal to ever hit the U.S. Olympic Committee, the U.S. Olympic movement. It is, I believe, the worst scandal in U.S. sports history, and it's certainly the worst sex abuse scandal I think we have seen in sports, and I think we could say worldwide. And, of course, we're well aware of the horrors of the Catholic Church and other things like that, but in terms of sports, Don, I don't think we've seen anything quite like this, and it is terrible, and we should be saying those words. This takes this to a whole new level. This is just as sad a day in U.S. Olympic history as you could pick, I think, as you could imagine, because it does confirm this story, which I think many people listening and watching us, many people have known about USA Gymnastics. They know that Steve Penny resigned. They know that Steve Penny was arrested on vacation a month or so ago. They know those stories. But this report, the Ropes & Gray report that has been the news is breaking today, this report takes this entire scandal and controversy and the horrors of Larry Nassar, and it takes it right into the front office and the boardroom of the U.S. Olympic Committee.
So an avalanche of lawsuits has already forced U.S. gymnastics into bankruptcy. What do we think the repercussions might now be for the U.S. Olympic Committee?
Well, one would think, and again, it's very early on, Don, but one would think that they could also be a target for lawsuits or for potentially other action. We have no knowledge yet if there would be any civil or criminal action against Scott Blackman or against Alan Ashley. And by the way, Alan Ashley was fired as soon as CEO Sarah Hirschland, the new CEO of the U.S. Olympic Committee, as soon as she was briefed on the report. She had not read it, but as soon as she was briefed last night, she said early this morning, so Monday morning, Sarah Hirschland fired Alan Ashley. So he is also gone. Both men are now gone from the U.S. Olympic Committee. Sarah Hirschland, as CEO, her action was swift, and it was correct, appropriately so, but she got rid of Ashley immediately after hearing what the report was saying. So there's that piece of it. I don't know the USOC moving forward, what comes their way, but I think anything is possible. This is an incredibly dark day for the U.S. Olympic Committee, and there have been many dark days over the last year or so in the wake of the horrors of the Larry Nassar scandal. And of course, it's still a terrible day, as we should remember always, the victims and survivors of Larry Nassar. Over 350 women, some say as many as 500-600. And again, to think that they were failed by these two men whose jobs was to be in charge of the U.S. Olympic Committee and also whose jobs were to be looking out for them, and they were failed.
Just awful. Christine Brennan there.